My friend down south had this happen to her, and there's a guy called Chris who was calling her darling, and so she called him Barry. He's like, oh, that's not my name. Yeah, exactly. Come on. Do better.
Essentially, it's the promise of something good happening to you if you do this sexual thing. Or it's the promise that something bad is going to happen to you if you don't do this thing, of course. And then there is also the definition that it is an unwelcome or offensive behaviour to you of a sexual nature. It doesn't have to offend you. It can just be, I don't want that to continue.
It's a lot to do with how people talk to you, the way that they inappropriately say things, especially when you're a female, because construction to me is a man's world. It's also sexual harassment is the way that you are spoken to, as well as looked at, whistled at.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, I think it's a thing on site, and it takes different forms.
Sexual harassment's definitely still happening in the trades.
Yes, definitely. Something that does make me feel uncomfortable is when I get called darling or honey or gorgeous during work time, when they know that I've got my own serious partner and it is not my name. That is not what I am called. Please don't do that.
If you're not sure that the behaviour you're doing is harming another person, check in. Sexual harassment is a really wide-ranging situation. So it can be just the potentially accidental brush of a thigh. It can be a more overt behaviour like a grabbing of a person, right up to like criminal assault. It depends on the person receiving the verbal harassment, right? So for me, I might not have any problem with you commenting on my clothes, but another person will absolutely find that really uncomfortable and perhaps even offensive. And it might come down to how it's said, but it might not. It might also come down to that person who's receiving that comment and their experiences to date, their culture, their expectations, their role. All kinds of things can come into play.
I guess calling the behaviour out, because people, their egos get in the way a bit, so if you really target the person individually, you're probably not going to help them change.
Yeah.
But you've got to find ways to target the behaviour rather than the person.
We advocate for early intervention. So that might look like calling out a behaviour or just going, oh, hey, mate, do you think that's cool? And they go, not sure. Or would you mind bringing that up with them? Because I'm a bit like, I'm not sure I can bring it up with them. So you might delegate it to somebody else.
Yeah, like I would pull someone aside, oh man, you're a bit of a dick to blah, 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 or, you don't talk to me like that. That was so rude. Protecting their ego a bit, you have to do that, I think, to make things sink in and not have them reflex back, like, whoa, arc back and then try to, smack you on back. And
You want them to get on board.
Yeah.
You don't want to make more of an enemy out of them.
Yeah, but I, also try to make them understand, like, that really hurt my feelings. Like show them that I'm a human, and so are you. Don't forget you've got feelings too, and you shouldn't bottle them down.
You're allowed to make friends. You're allowed to build relationships. So a really clear way of looking at this would be, you're allowed to ask somebody on a date. They're allowed to say no. But if you continually ask them, that would be sexual harassment. But what if you then develop a relationship, a friendship? A few months later, you ask them out again. That's not sexual harassment. You've developed a relationship. Things have changed. If a person is making a complaint in a sexual harassment sense, we call that a disclosure. So first of all, they'll disclose to somebody they trust. They will want to be heard, so you listen.
You just want to make sure that you have a safe environment for everybody that feel comfortable enough to talk to somebody about it.
A formal complaint, which is actually quite far down the line of when things go wrong. If it gets to that point, we start talking about how we can make people feel comfortable throughout the process. We keep them informed about what's going on. There are privacy issues, but we try and keep those transparency as much as possible. So timeframes are really important. We're going through this part of the process at the moment, and then we're going to go through this process, just letting you know where we're at.